Alright people, prepare for a wild ride through the career of one of England's most electrifying strikers, Wayne Rooney.
Ready! It's an astonishing moment from a true footballing genius.
How Wayne Rooney struck fear into the eyes of everyone in world football. Picture this, it's the late 90s in Crossdeath, Liverpool. The streets are alive with the sound of kids playing, but there's one lad who stands out from the rest. A stocky, round-faced boy with a mop of brown hair and a football seemingly glued to his feet. That's our Wayne Rooney, barely into double digits but already showing signs of something special. While most kids his age were busy with video games or watching telly, young Wayne was out from dawn till dusk, honing his skills on the unforgiving concrete of Crossdeath council estates. You'd see him dribbling around lampposts, using garage doors as makeshift goals, and probably knocking over bins and getting into trouble. At just 9 years old, Rooney joined Everton's youth setup. The coaches couldn't believe their eyes, but it wasn't just about skill for young Wayne. It was clear this wasn't just another talented kid. This was something special. Fast forward a few years, and suddenly this stocky teenager is lining up for Everton's first team. It's October 19, 2002, and Arsenal, the reigning champions, rock up to Goodison Park, riding high on a 30-game unbeaten streak. Nobody gave Everton much of a chance, especially not with this 16-year-old kid leading the line. But Rooney had other ideas. With 5 minutes left on the clock, he picks up the ball about 25 yards out. The commentator's voice rises in anticipation. Rooney turns, looks up, and unleashes a howitzer of a shot that flies past David Seaman and crashes into the underside of the bar before nestling in the net. Goodison Park erupts. The pubs go mental, the youngest Premier League goal scorer ever, and he's done it against the champions. Talk about making an entrance.
Rooney, instant control. Fancies his chances. Oh, brilliant goal! A brilliant goal! Remember the name, Wayne Rooney.
That goal changed everything. Suddenly, everyone was talking about the School's wonder kid. He wasn't just good for a teenager, he was genuinely, potentially world class. For the next 2 seasons, Rooney kept wowing everyone at Everton. He was strong as an ox, skillful as a magician, and fearless as a lion. Remember, this lad was still young enough to be doing his GCSEs, but he was out there week in, week out, giving seasoned pros the runaround. One moment that stands out is his wonder goal against Arsenal in 2004. Rooney picks up the ball in his own half, shrugs off a challenge, and sets off towards goal. He beats one defender, then another, before curling a sublime shot into the top corner from 25 yards. It was the kind of goal that makes you spill your pint in disbelief. But with great talent comes great attention. And it wasn't long before the big boys came calling. Manchester United won the race, splashing out 25.6 million euros. It was the most expensive teenage transfer in history. Talk about pressure. When Rooney rocked up at Old Trafford in 2004, expectations were sky high. But if anyone thought the pressure might get to him, they were in for a shock. In his debut against Fenerbahce in the Champions League, Rooney didn't just score, he bagged a bloody hat-trick. It was like watching a kid play FIFA on easy mode. That performance set the tone for what would be 13 glorious years at United. Over that time, Rooney would become a bona fide club legend, winning more trophies than you've had hot dinners. We're talking 5 Premier League titles, an FA Cup, 4 League Cups, and the Champions League. Not too shabby for a lad from Crossdeath, eh? His partnership with Cristiano Ronaldo was something else. It was like watching 2 young lions competing to be king of the pride, pushing each other to new heights. Between 2006 and 2009, those 2 were practically unstoppable. The 2007-08 season was particularly mental. Ronaldo scored 42 goals, Rooney chipped in with 18, and United won the Premier League and Champions League double. Some of Rooney's goals during his United years were absolutely bonkers. That overhead kick against City in 2011? Bloody hell, I still get goosebumps thinking about it. The ball comes in from Nani, it's slightly behind Rooney, but he contorts his body, leaps into the air, and connects with the sweetest bicycle kick you'll ever see. Top corner, game 1, derby decided. If that happened on a pub team, they'd still be talking about it 50 years later. By the time he left United in 2017, Rooney had written his name into the club's history books. He'd overtaken Sir Bobby Charlton to become United's all-time top scorer with 253 goals. Not bad for a lad who wasn't even an out-and-out striker for most of his career. England's great white hope, the Three Lions' tale. Rooney's England career. Bit of a roller coaster that. When he first showed up for the national team in 2003, he looked like a perfect foil for Michael Owen. But who knew he would surpass the Ballon d'Or winner with ease? His first major tournament, Euro 2004, was when we all sat up and took notice. Here was this teenager running rings around some of the best defenders in Europe. He scored 4 goals in 4 games before getting injured in the quarterfinal against Portugal. We all thought we'd struck gold. But you know how it is with England. We always expect too much, don't we? Poor Raza had the hopes of a nation dumped on his shoulders before he could even legally buy a pint. Talk about pressure. The 2006 World Cup was supposed to be Rooney's coming out party on the global stage, but it all went pear-shaped in the quarterfinal against Portugal. Rooney, frustrated and isolated up front, stamped on Ricardo Carvalho and got sent off. To make matters worse, his United teammate Cristiano Ronaldo played a part in inciting the referee to send Rooney off. Yikes. That moment seemed to sum up Rooney's England career. Flashes of brilliance, moments of frustration, and ultimately a sense of what might have been. Don't get me wrong, he had his moments in the England shirt. Becoming the country's all-time top scorer with 53 goals is no small feat, but it never quite clicked the same way it did at United. Maybe it was the system, maybe it was the weight of expectations, who knows. There were some great moments along the way. His performance in the crucial World Cup qualifier against Croatia in 2009, where he scored twice to send England to South Africa, was top drawer. Or his goal against Uruguay in the 2014 World Cup, a typical Rooney finish, arriving late in the box to slam home a cross. Not to forget that Wayne Rooney was part of the golden generation for England, and they all went out with a whimper. So what was it about Wayne Rooney that made defenders wake up in a cold sweat? Well, for starters, Rooney was built like a tank. Despite standing at just 5'9", he had this explosive power that could send even the burliest centre backs flying. It was like trying to stop a runaway rhino. But here's the kicker, Rooney wasn't just about brute force. The lad had the touch and technique of a ballet dancer. His first touch was so smooth, it was like the ball was glued to his foot. And don't even get me started on his passing. He could thread a needle from 40 yards out, blindfolded, with both hands tied behind his back. The real nightmare though, you never knew which Rooney you'd be facing. One minute he'd be leading the line, the next he'd drop deep to create chances, and before you knew it, he'd be popping up on the wing. It was like trying to play whack-a-mole with a world-class footballer. His football intelligence was off the charts. Rooney had this uncanny ability to read the game, to see passes and opportunities that others couldn't. He wasn't the fastest player on the pitch, but he was always 2 steps ahead mentally. It's like he had a bird's eye view of the pitch in his head. And boy did he love the big moments. It's like he had this sixth sense for when the game was on the line. Whether it was a last gasp winner or a crucial assist, Rooney always seemed to be in the right place at the right time. Even on his off days, the guy never stopped running. He'd press and track back like a man possessed, setting the tone for the whole team. It was exhausting just watching him. Just do us a favor and watch his assist for DC United against Orlando in the MLS, because that assist typifies Wayne Rooney to the T. That assist sums up Wayne Rooney as a player. Looking back now, it's mad to think how much Rooney achieved. All those trophies, all those records, but for me, it was always about more than just the stats. It was the way he played the game. Full-blooded, no holds barred, always giving 110%. His legacy isn't just about the goals or the trophies. It's about the memories he gave us fans. That bicycle kick against City, the way he'd celebrate a goal, arms outstretched, face beaming with joy, the sight of him charging around the pitch, chasing down lost causes, never giving up.